1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome back to 31 Days of Horror. Day number 14. Back with me again is my sister, Adelita Lopez. Welcome back to the show, Lita.
Show. Oh, it's good to be back. This is fun. This was a goofy movie. I loved it.
Today's movie is Rockula, which, where did we watch it? Was it Tubi or was it?
On Tubi. Yes,
okay.
It's free on Tubi.
Tubi and Pluto are very similar, and sometimes they have the same stuff on them, but this one looks like it's just on Tubi. I used to see this movie on HBO or something back when it came out. That's how I was familiar with it. It has not been widely available, but now it is, so you can go watch it on Tubi if you haven't seen it yet. This is only a horror movie in the very broadest sense of the term.
Yeah,
it's a monster
I was
movie.
Say that.
It's a monster movie in a very broad sense. It's not really horrific in any way.
No, there's nothing frightening or scary about it, but it is Halloween themed. It is a Halloween movie.
Definitely
so it fits with your marathon, October marathon. It's definitely Halloween.
It's a Halloween movie. It has 2 vampires and no blood in it whatsoever. I thought...
There's not a single bite. Not a single bite.
Nope. I thought My Mom's Dating a Vampire was like the most bloodless vampire movie I'd seen, but this one tops it because nobody even gets bit, or do they even get under threat of being bitten? I'm not sure.
No.
So this movie it was made in 88, but not released till 90. It was produced by Canon Films, and they were having some financial issues at the time, so they had to sit on a couple of things. Directed by Luca Barovicki, and written by him and Jeffrey Levy and Chris Verweil. 3 guys wrote this movie. Stars Dean Cameron as Ralph and Ralph's Reflection, Tony Basil of Mickey fame as Phoebe, Ralph's mother, Thomas Dolby, science! That Thomas Dolby as Stanley, Tawny Ferre? I don't know who she is.
I want to say Ferre.
She's been in a few things.
Yeah.
I think I looked her up and I'd actually seen her and stuff. She's Mona, Susan Tyrell as Chuck the bartender, Bo Diddley as Axeman, Kevin Hunter as Drunk, Nancy Ferguson as Robin, Rick Zumwalt as Boom Boom, Tony Cox, who you've seen in stuff, as Big Al, Greg Rusin as Elmo, and Bill Brocktrup as Rhodey. Tony Cox was in Bad Santa.
Oh yeah. I was surprised. I was like, he
Friday.
He must have been a young little baby in this. Because how old is he now? But yeah, that was a delightful.
Well, he was born in 1958.
Really?
So
that guy looks
he was still a grown ass man when he made this movie. You've all seen him in stuff. He was in Willow, and he was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I don't remember him from Willow, but
he must be one of the guys at the beginning. Must be one of the villagers at the beginning.
Oh, okay. To watch it again before the new show comes out.
I also noticed in the credits that Dean Cameron wrote a number of the songs that he performs. So he is not I don't think they list him as like a producer or writer or anything, but it seems like he was doing more than, just being in the movie.
Yeah.
If that's the
and
case.
What else is he in? Because
he's not in a lot.
He was really good.
So he's still around, but let's see, he has starred in short-lived television series like Spencer and Fast Times, which was a spinoff of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They Came from Outer Space and Mr. Sterling. He's been on Facts of Life, Alf, Will and Grace, Psych. His movies, I mean, he was sort of on the way up briefly. He was in Summer School, Bad Dreams, Ski School 2.
Yeah.
You know, a fair number of stuff in the 90s. Then he's in a lot of stuff up through 2015, but I don't think he was the star of any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm scrolling through his page right now.
It looks like he's working, but he was briefly the star of stuff, and then he wasn't. But no,
he's
he did
good.
He did a good job, and he was fun to watch. And
he's fun to watch. He's very attractive. He sings well. I thought he was a better singer than than Mona.
Yes. He performed like 3 different musical genres in the movie.
Oh my God.
So Dean Cameron is playing Ralph Levy, a friendly vampire. But I'm a friendly vampire. He's 400 years old and still lives with his mother, Phoebe, played by Toni Basil, in one of what I assume is her very few movie roles.
I'm sorry, I have to say I don't really know who she is. I know you were...
She's most famous for the song Mickey.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that song. She is a choreographer. She is a singer, actress, director, but she's most known for Mickey. She has done a fair amount of choreography and dancing in movies, but looks like most of it's uncredited stuff.
Okay.
Well, not most of it, but a lot of it. She's not been in that many movies. This might be her biggest part.
Yeah.
But I liked her. She was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
When did Mickey came out in 1981, so that was several years before this movie. Not a lot, but so.
Okay. But she would have been a big star. She would have been very well known, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
The time of this movie. Yes.
Yeah. So Ralph is living under a curse. After meeting the girl of his dreams 308 years ago, this is the Wikipedia summary, by the way. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Ralph lost her after she was killed by her jealous boyfriend, a pirate. Since that time, the girl Mona has been reincarnated every 22 years. No, she's been reincarnated immediately, and then he meets her when she's 22, so that it's not creepy.
Well,
she dies, she gets reincarnated, she ages to 22, and then he meets her.
Right.
So yes, I guess you could say she's reincarnated every 22 years, but she doesn't wait 22 years after she dies. Anyway, she only to fall in love with Ralph and die under exactly the same oddly specific circumstances. Killed on Halloween by a rhinestone peg-legged pirate wielding a giant ham bone.
Why?
Yes.
Why? I have a theory. We'll get to the theory of why a ham bone, but go on with the synopsis.
Now in 1990, Ralph, weary of the whole thing, vows to stay locked in his room and not meet Mona again until after Halloween, much to the chagrin of his sentient and libidinous reflection, another side effect of the curse. They establish through his mother that vampires do not have reflections because she has to put on her makeup from memory.
Oh, that's
then
what
they
that
tell
was
us
about.
that because
okay.
Yes.
I didn't understand what that makeup line was.
Yeah.
So how does he have a reflection? They don't explain why he has his talking reflection.
Right. It's just somehow because of his curse, he does have a reflection who has its own agency and it's sentient. It talks back to him and apparently goes off and does things when it's not being reflected.
Yeah.
Picks up girls in the mirror universe somehow.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's very weird.
There's
But it's one of the things that I remember liking about this movie when I first saw it.
right. I mean, it's a really fun dynamic between him and his reflection. And again, Dean Cameron does a really great job of playing both characters.
Yeah.
Because it is a different character. He has his own different personality. I mean, they're not wildly, drastically different, but yeah, he's reflection guy is his own being. But it just brings up, there's so many questions. All I have to say about this movie is I have so many questions about this universe, and there's a lack of logic in this film that is very upsetting.
In a lot of these kind of movies, the hero has a randy best friend.
Sure. Yeah.
Who is a little more even though they're romance, the friend is a little more obsessed with getting laid than the hero is, and is a little more of a smartass than the hero. And in this movie, he's playing both parts.
Yeah.
His reflection is that part.
Yeah.
So Ralph meets up with his friends at a local bar, including rock legend Bo Diddley, and once again recounts the story of his curse to them. So we get a big exposition dump.
From the bartender just saying, okay, let me get this straight. And she tells us everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's apparently already told them the story, and she's going back through it.
Yeah.
And there's another guy there who's taking it all much more seriously than the bartender is. And there's Ralph and there's Bo Diddley and nobody else. Walking out into the street, he's hit by a car. So he's like, I'm not going to go meet her this year. I'm going home. And then he gets hit by a car being driven by her.
Of course. Yes, because here's my question. Does she, well, one of many questions, but it sounds like, so Ralph and his mother have lived all over the world, and yet he continues to meet Mona everywhere. Does she just, her soul is so tied to his that she reincarnates wherever he is, no matter what? Or how long have they been here? Because, you know,
it always happens to Hawkman.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to that cosmology myself.
Well, I'm sure.
But if you do, there's no reason why it can't just keep happening. If for whatever reason the universe decides to curse you and reincarnation exists, then the person you have to keep falling in love with and watching die can be reincarnated anywhere. I think everybody, if they are reincarnated, can be reincarnated anywhere.
Sure. You
don't necessarily jump into the nearest baby to where you died.
Right. Yeah.
And she could also have been born who knows where, and then the universe just steers her in that direction until she's where she needs to be. No, of course it doesn't make sense, but we're dealing with a magical universe that has vampires and curses, and the universe guides people into certain situations.
Right. I still just want things to be logical. I will accept. I can suspend my disbelief. I will accept anything. I just still need it to have some rules that make logical sense. But
the rules are that moving to a different town will not help.
Right.
She will be put in his path when the time comes.
Exactly. She will run into him, literally run into him on Friday the 13th. It's always Friday the 13th. I guess that's why it's every 22 years.
That's not going to work.
What?
That math doesn't work, though. Does that math work at all?
If it's every 22 years, I figured that had to be why they decided 22, so that there would be a Friday the 13th in October.
Okay. I have no idea if that works.
Know.
I assumed it was just so she'd be the appropriate age. But anyway, in this case, yes, he is put in her path.
Yeah.
Directly in her path.
Yeah.
And he gets up, so she's a local singer. He gets up and tells her to screw off. He tries to push her away because he doesn't want to go through this again. They seem to think, though, at least his mother, that avoiding her won't help. She's still going to die. But it does seem like the interacting with him is what brings about her death.
Right, because the jealousy of the
exactly the falling in love and the falling in love and having a jealous boyfriend is what gets her killed. So I thought his plan should work, and then he can always look her up a week later and carry on. Right. But they seem to think that if he doesn't try to save her, she's going to die anyway. Yeah. But I don't think that's been tested.
No.
So immediately warning her off, Ralph runs off, but a portentous dream reinvigorates him to try and save her life now that events have been set in motion. He goes looking for her and discovers a flyer with her band playing at a local club. Was it Club Hell? When he goes to visit her, the two hit it off immediately, much to the dismay of Mona's manager / ex-boyfriend, an eccentric mortuary owner named Stanley, played by Thomas Dolby. And we see a commercial that he has running.
Okay. This was so weird to me as far what is Stanley and what does he do? So I might have missed a little bit in that first scene, because that first commercial I thought was for a car dealership, but it is a mortuary, so he is a...
It's in... Yes.
Okay.
It's in the style of a car commercial, but it's for his mortuary, and he's talking about the various options that you have, including being cryogenically frozen.
No. That's the second commercial. The first one. Okay. The first commercial. I might have to go just put it on and watch it again, because the first commercial is like a cowboy thing, and it makes. Yeah. I did not get that was for a mortuary, and I did not get that he was her manager. I did not understand who the hell. What does he do? Was he the director? Was he a singer? What was he? It was not clear. He was just there.
In the commercial, he does sing something about what the options are or what he does, but it may be a little unclear.
So unclear.
But yes, he is both a manager and a guy that runs a mortuary that has commercials on television.
Like you do, sure.
Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's Death Park.
Howdy folks, Stan the Man Wilson here from Stanley's Death Park, where we take the death out of dying. This Sunday marks our Heaven on Earth sale, and let's face it folks, it's a sale that some of you aren't going to miss. Take a look at this baby, the Streamline Death 2000. Our top of the line, this week, yours for only $19.95. A little steep, do I hear you say? Then how about going Dutch and our eternal economy model? Only $100 over factory invoice. How do we do it? Volume, volume, volume. So, bring the family, come on down, and while you're here, check out our revolutionary cryogenic process. Open 12 to 12 for your shopping convenience. See you here.
Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's, stands the man. Come to Stanley's Death Park.
After Ralph is unable to adequately say what he does for a living, he states that he's in a band. Realizing that he actually is a decent musician after hundreds of years of piano and guitar lessons, he and his friends start the band. I love the bit at the beginning when he's playing the piano. This actually made me laugh out loud. He's trying he's trying a dramatic vampire-y thing, and then he does a little noodling, and then he starts playing Believe Me If All Those Endearing Young Charms. And that just made me laugh.
Yes, it actually reminded me of Phantom of the Paradise, that we have this creepy guy in a cape playing the electric piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
adorable. Everything. I love the opening. I love the opening credits with the dancing. tombstones and everything in that. Like, yes,
Yes.
there's a lot of charm.
The song is the opening song is I Just Want to Rock You La.
Yeah.
Piece I'm talking about is called Ralph on the Keys.
Okay. Yeah.
Stanley's Death Park. That's the commercial. Stanley's Death Park.
It is
I'm looking
Stanley's
at the music
Death
list
Park.
now.
Okay. I did not get that it was a.
It seemed more like it was like, a park.
Yeah. Like
park.
yes. I thought it was an amusement park. Yeah. Okay.
I can see why you'd make that mistake.
Yeah.
So he forms a band that he calls Rockula because he's not going to try to hide that he's a vampire. He's going to act like he's a pretend vampire, I guess. Yeah, playing up his vampirism as the band's gimmick.
Right.
Rockula's first gig, well, the thing is he can't really hide his fangs.
Right, and nobody ever comments on the fangs. The fangs are there. No one seems to care about them. I guess his bandmates know he's a vampire. The bartender and roadie, because
of the story.
Know, okay, right.
He's told them all
and
the story.
they just accept it.
But his is like a vegetarian. He mentions that the sight of blood makes him nauseated. Right. So I'm not sure how he sustains himself if he just drinks animal blood.
No, he gets the deliveries from the Red Cross.
Oh, yes,
it's like a milk bottle delivery. He gets bottles of blood delivered. Yeah. Which you think the Red Cross would be like, what do you need these for? What's going on? Nobody ever questions why these two, both of him and his mother, they just have fangs. No big deal. Nobody seems to care. Yeah. And we never get an explanation of how he and his mother became vampires in the first place. I guess it's not relevant.
Right.
But
they must have both. They don't go into vampire reproduction, but presumably he is a natural child that was then. I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Because she does seem like she's too young to be his mother.
A little bit. Yeah.
She is older than him, but she does seem like a very young mother. So maybe she was turned into a vampire first, and then maybe she turned him into one once he hit a certain age. It's unclear.
Very unclear. Not even addressed in the slightest.
But I don't think she. Right. I do not believe that she was a vampire who then gave birth to him. I think they were both turned into vampires. Anyway, Rockula's first gig is a success, and the band quickly becomes a hit. Mm-hmm. They sing a song called Rockula, and he has an outfit that spells out his name.
Yeah.
There's this thing, he's got the K in the middle, and then he's got these things that hang out underneath his arms.
Little wings. Yes, they're little bat wings type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so Ralph and Mona start dating and even start collaborating musically, writing songs and filming a video together, which we don't realize is a video.
Oh my God, that was so weird. I was like, what is happening? What is this? And
it seems at first like it's just a romance montage kind of thing. But then we pull out and see it's actually a music video that they've made.
But let's not neglect the fact, again, lack of logic. They meet, they collaborate, write a song, shoot a music video, get the video on air to premiere all between Friday the 13th and the 31st. So it's.
Yes, they explicitly mention that it's 2 weeks, that there's 2 weeks between meeting her and her dying.
Right.
So it hasn't even been 2 whole weeks yet that they've gotten all this work done.
A lot of work.
So good for them, I guess. Which she immediately then starts feeling dissatisfied with, because she's like, is this my whole life boiled down to just 2 minutes of a video? I was like, what?
Yeah.
But a video that was recorded and now will last forever, that people can keep watching.
And it's getting airplay on television. Like, yeah, it's a big accomplishment. Yeah. And I did feel like it also bugged me that if she had been working toward that for her whole life, why wasn't it just her video? Why did he have to be in it and even start the song? Like, the song starts off with him singing the lead, and then she comes in. Like, no, this should be your moment, Mona.
It should. I think that was just had to do with them disguising it as part of the movie, and then it turns out it's a video.
Out, but yeah.
But there might also be nobody comes out and says this, but vampires have a certain hypnotic charisma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That they're able to enthrall. They can not only enthrall individuals, but perhaps whole crowds. So it might be his instant band success might be tied to his vampire aura, and that he can then lend that to her. By that she's been struggling, but by him being in the video now, it's a hit because vampires have a natural, an unnatural, supernatural charisma. So
okay.
That could be what's happening.
Okay.
Anyway, Stanley sees all this as a threat and seeks the counsel of a local psychic, Madame Benoit. And the less said about that name, the better. Who reveals that Ralph is a vampire. He begins to... Were you fooled for a moment by Madame Benoit?
No, not for a second. No, of course. I was like, yes, again, why? Okay, I guess it'll be revealed.
She is very... very obviously hiding her face because it later turns out that it's Phoebe, his mother.
Yes.
He begins to plot to kill Ralph and cryogenically freeze Mona using equipment from his mortuary so he'll have her forever.
Also, not a good plan that makes no sense, but all right, go on.
Yeah, right. Are you going to unfreeze her at some point when you'll be way too old for her? What is the point?
There was no point in freezing her. None.
I guess in that way he can kill her without seeming like he's killed her. Like in his mind, oh, I didn't kill her. I just preserved her. I don't know. Or maybe he can just keep looking at her frozen body. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's clearly unhinged at this point.
Yeah.
Which is not really his fault, though. He's under a curse as well.
Is he? So it wasn't clear too if he is the same, also reincarnated pirate, or Mona always has some different guy.
Whether or not he is still doomed to play this part. Through no fault of his own. He's been thrust in. Yes, he's been chosen to play this part, regardless of whether he's the reincarnation of the original guy or not. Whoever she's with at the time is going to, or recently been with, is going to be forced to participate in this nonsense. Yeah. So it's not really his fault.
Yeah. I didn't see any reason why Mona would have ever been attracted to him, and it wasn't even clear if they had ever actually dated or he just had a crush on her, because
he is referred to as her ex-boyfriend at some point.
Whatever. Yes,
he doesn't seem he doesn't seem her type.
No.
Ralph and Mona have dinner with Phoebe and her latest beau, who is Boom Boom. And he's somebody. Let me get back to him, because I noticed when I was looking at it earlier that he has a wrestling career.
Oh yeah, he looked like he could be a wrestler for sure.
Richard Lee Zumwalt Jr. was a professional arm wrestler and actor, and is known for playing the character of Bob Bull Hurley in the 1987 Sylvester Stallone movie Over the Top.
Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah.
But he does have several other credits.
He's got a lot,
so it's not just.
It looks like that was his first.
Something called Ragin' Cajun. Yeah. I mean, he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he was he was very funny. Really, that whole scene was over the top, absurd. Her dance.
I think he's also there, I think, to show us that Phoebe gets around and has broad taste.
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah.
So this dinner proves awkward as Phoebe makes no secret of her unnaturally long life, referring to things such as George Washington's bedroom prowess and speaking to Mona as if she's known her for years. I like the line, "Oh, you're so pretty this time."
Yeah. And Mona never questions any of it. She just, another fallacy of that, she just accepts Phoebe's nonsense or she's just placating someone she thinks is insane or whatever, because then later on she acts all surprised and shocked about the reveal of Ralph being a vampire, when it's like, you sat there and had dinner with his mother with fangs talking about her life since the 16th century. What did you think was going on?
Yeah. The evening culminates in an impromptu musical number by Phoebe. The song is The Night, performed by Toni Basil, and she does a little bit of her dancing in that.
That dance was something else, and that song, and they had to break into a rap. Oh, we forgot to talk about Rockula's rap song, Rapula.
I was gonna. Yes,
that.
I guess from the music list here, I guess that happened before Tony's number.
Yes, his rap. And I guess it was just the 88 that it felt mandatory to have some easeball rapping.
But I loved it.
Which one, both?
For some reason, the Rapula.
Yes. I mean, yes.
Is there? Oh, does she do it? Does she do a rap in The Night as well?
Yes, there's a little rap breakout.
Oh my God!
Yes, it's so.
Yeah, no, that part I didn't love. That part I did not love. His Rapula. There's some, I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something about his line. Are you the DJ? No, I'm the vampire.
There was this girl named Nina, she wanted Marina. She was singing back before Ike and Tina. I liked her bangs, she liked my fangs, so we decided to do the crazy Rapula thing. Now if Alva didn't like it, so he called me a pig. I said, Dr. Van Helsing, here's something you'll dig. We can sing Kumbaya around the campfire.
Are you the DJ?
Nope, I'm the vampire. I said I'm the vampire.
I just love it.
Yes, and rhyming campfire with vampire I thought was brilliant. And then I
started
to think of what other vampire rhymes are there? Damp liar, ramp wire.
I can't. I do not remember what it was, but there was another line where I just thought, oh, that was a good rhyme.
Yeah.
An unexpected rhyme.
Yes. The music was really fun. I wanted there to be like some just amazing badass song that was just an anthem of like, yes, this should have been a big hit. Didn't quite get to that level, but it wasn't. I was also afraid that the music was just going to be horrible and painful, but it was not. Overall, it was good. It was enjoyable. All of the songs were nicely written and entertaining. A little cliche, perhaps, but it was overall. Everything was entertaining for sure.
Pausa rapidinho agora para falar de dica de ouro para os papais e mamães. Depois de experimentar a nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha, tudo ficou ainda melhor pro meu filho. É a única com canais em X que se adaptam aos movimentos, com 2 vezes proteção noturna e cintura elástica que se adapta ao corpinho do bebê, além de ser super fácil de colocar e tirar. Praticidade pura. Então guarda essa dica. Nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha. Bebê, estamos juntos nessa, mais do que nunca. Agora curta seu podcast.
So, on the drive home, rather than have Mona think he and his mother are crazy, he reveals that he's a vampire and tells her the details of the curse. This does not go well. Mona is skeptical until Ralph half transforms into a bat in front of her. He doesn't do it often, so he turns into this weird little sort of dwarf.
It was the best. Bat. That was the best thing. The bat. I just wrote hugely on my notes, the bat! Exclamation points. Oh my God, haha. Like, I loved everything about the bat. And it makes sense that the bat was in there because I was just looking, when we started this, I was looking on IMDb on all of the people. And the guy that wrote this, the writer-director of this, also did all of the Ghoulies movies. Have you seen any of those?
Okay. I believe I have.
Oh, you need to watch those. Put them in the repertoire.
I know. I'm pretty sure I've seen at least one of them.
I've seen at least one, maybe two. David loves them.
Aren't they kind of a Gremlins wannabes?
Yes, but ridiculous and more fun, more absurd, and yeah, it's the same. Like they look a lot like, yeah, whoever's creature person is must have done both of these because that bat was just the greatest thing I've ever seen in a bad musical movie.
Tamra DeTreo plays Bat Dork.
Bat Dork, yes,
and is also in Ghoulies and in E.T. I'm wondering if she was E.T.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah. Huh. Oh my God, it's just the most ridiculous thing.
Well, when I click on E.T., it doesn't show me who's playing E.T.
Yeah.
Go back to her page and see if it says special E.T. movement is how she is credited.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, because at some points E.T. was a puppet,
Right.
And at some points, I guess it was a person in a suit. She does not have a lot of credits, though. Anyway, I found Bat Dork highly disconcerting.
That was the most frightening thing in the movie. It was very unsettling, but hilarious and adorable. I laughed out loud. I loved it.
And when he changed, so Bat Dork is very small, being played by a little person. And when he changes back, he has to pull his pants back up because they've fallen around his ankles when he transformed. Yes. But Mona is disturbed by this and drives off and leaves town.
Yeah.
Halloween comes and Rockula is scheduled to perform. Stanley appears dressed as a pirate with a ham bone because Madame Benoit has told him he has to do this.
And what?
He was also he was also specifically a Halloween pirate because he had black and orange stripes on his shirt.
And what is the other essential item?
A rhinestone peg leg. He couldn't find one himself, but Madame Benoit had one.
Of course she had one. Oh.
Mona, having admitted that she loves Ralph, returns and meets him on stage, only to be kidnapped and carted away by Stanley. On stage. So but this is not where he does Rapula?
No, Rapula was before.
Was that earlier?
It was his second performance.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just kind of a filler.
Right. I don't know what song, if any. I don't know what song, if any, he does at this point.
No, this was actually supposed to be Mona's song. Mona was supposed to perform.
Oh, right. This is where the visiting kids come in.
What the hell are the visiting kids? I get those three little girls.
Were
they a thing?
They're a thing. I'll explain that in just a second. So throughout the movie, Mona has a friend, Robin. So Mona hasn't shown up, and Ralph says, "Robin, you go do a number." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You can do it. I know I've seen you or heard you or whatever. You're always singing that little song. Go out there and do it." So she just happens to have the three creepy little girls with her, and they go out and perform this song, United State of Beat, which is one of the pre-existing songs. You mentioned this song, Budapest by Blimp, is a Thomas Dolby song. The visiting kids were a thing briefly. They're kind of associated with Devo.
Okay.
His Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo, his then wife, Nancy Ferguson, who was playing Robin, and three young girls were the visiting kids.
Okay.
And he seemed to have something to do, or Devo had something to do with...
Were those kids...
creating them or giving them access or something? They were just three kids. They had the idea and they just found these three kids.
Okay, so the kids aren't sisters or anything. They're all just random kids.
They may or may not be sisters. Let's see if I can find... Oh, the other members include Bob Mothersbaugh's daughter, Alex, and Devo's fourth drummer, David Kendrick. Nancy's artistic partner, Oscar Mitt, read her a crumpled New York Post article titled "Visiting Kids Terrorize Home." Thus began Ferguson's bizarre art band. This is an article on faroutmagazine.co.uk.
Okay. Yeah, creepy. It should be noted they were in the music video earlier, playing homeless children.
That would explain why they were hanging out at the show.
Yeah.
They were a satirical and surreal take on something like the Partridge Family.
Okay.
It just says recruited 3 young girls, Scarlett, Autumn, and Alex.
Okay.
So Alex is the daughter. Scarlett and Autumn, I don't know if they were just friends of Alex. Okay. And it does seem like the kids were not exactly in on the joke.
Of the visiting kids as a art band? Okay.
I mean, there seemed to be some kind of satire going on that the kids were just like, hey, we're just here singing these songs, having fun.
I wonder how that came to be, what the connection, they must have all known each other for this guy to put them. Lita.
I mean, it's Thomas Dolby is in the movie, so I'm sure he knows.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because it's all of them. It could be she was cast first and then they did it, or they might have cast her because of that. Yeah. Who knows?
Because her character was really superfluous. Like, she really did not need...
Yeah.
It was only there for them to have that performance, I assume, because she did nothing else but hang around.
Right. Occasionally Mona bounced lines off of her. Yeah. Anyway, they perform a song and the audience seems to enjoy it. If you're curious, they're on Spotify. You can go listen to Visiting Kids. Let's see. Ralph's reflection tells Stanley and Ralph. Okay. Ralph's reflection tells him where to find Mona, and he comes to the rescue. Stanley and Ralph duel with Stanley wielding the ham bone and Ralph wielding the rhinestone peg leg.
I wrote that down. A sentence you never thought you'd say. The peg leg ham bone fight. Yes.
Madame Benoit is then revealed to be Phoebe, who has orchestrated the curse for years, scared that Ralph will leave the nest. Now, I guess she couldn't actually create the curse, but she could help facilitate it, like by egging on. So it might be the pirate outfit's not necessary. She just keeps telling the guy he has to put this outfit on and use a ham bone. Phoebe apologizes, realizing that she needs to let Ralph grow up, but is knocked out by Stanley. Ralph then again half transforms into a bat, scaring Stanley into falling into his own freezing chamber, which then just turns on and freezes him pretty much instantly. Yes. Having saved Mona's life, the curse is broken and the two leave the club together happily. Ralph's reflection has had enough and smashes his way out of the mirror, dressed as Elvis Presley in a rhinestone jumpsuit, and performs a final number as Rockula. The final number is "The King is Back, Hey Rockula," in parentheses. Now, it does seem it's not at all clear how the mirror world works, because he can't get out the door.
Right. Yes,
at other times it seems like he can go other places and get mirror women from somewhere. Other mirrors, I guess.
Maybe wherever Ralph goes, maybe he goes there. So like he could have gone to the bar and met someone. I don't know. Again, logic is not a key factor.
There is a thing early on about Ralph being a virgin, and the mirror's like, "Oh, come on, we're a virgin," and he's like, "You're not. You're constantly bringing girls home."
Yeah, and we see him with one. Yeah, it makes no sense. It's okay.
And then there's a kind of fun part when he walks by some funhouse mirrors and the reflection keeps changing size.
Yeah.
So they do a big Elvis number to close out the show. So now his reflection is just roaming around. This does mean that now, like most vampires, he won't have a reflection because his reflection is broken out and is running around in the world. What happens when the reflection looks in the mirror? Will he have a reflection?
Oh my God, then the universe explodes on itself. We have a space-time continuum paradox that cannot be explained.
Maybe just the mirror will explode.
Yeah.
The mirror like, no, I can't do this. Not participating.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Rockula. Okay, so I feel like there was my theory about the ham bone was just so that they could have that joke at the end when Phoebe gets knocked out with the ham bone and Ralph says, "That was my mother you just boned." Like,
yeah, could be. It could be a long walk just for that joke.
Why? I mean, nothing makes any sense. There's all the pig stuff that happens too. Like we see pigs all the time, but it just why? Why would a pirate have a ham bone as a weapon?
Speaking of which, Stanley, well, he might have just been eating it. The original guy might have just been eating it. Who knows?
Okay.
Stanley harvests the ham bone himself directly.
Yes, which I guess now makes more sense if he is an actual mortician that he would have the skills to do that.
To debone a live pig. I get. He says, "Well, I can't find a peg leg anywhere, but I've got the ham bone." And then they cut to an actual pig, live pig, waiting to be slaughtered.
And then he brings in a ham feast later on. Again, the timeline of everything is really confusing.
That's right. He does come to the party with like a platter, like a ham platter or something. Well, that's a nice consistent moment.
Yeah.
Lita, how many pumpkins are you gonna rate Rockula?
Oddly, okay, it's not a good movie, but it was completely entertaining and I enjoyed everything about it, even though I hated. No, I can't say I hate it. I just questioned it. I just have a lot of questions about the world and the writing and again the logic. But I have to say it was exactly what I wanted it to be when, I said, let's watch something really silly and outrageous. This was exactly that. And I would watch it again and I would recommend it to other people. So I will give it 5 pumpkins. I will.
5? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is high.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, if 5 means I loved it, do I have to give it 5? I certainly like it. It succeeds in Roger Ebert's criteria that did this movie achieve what it was trying to do? Mm-hmm. There's been times when he would give a thumbs up or a good rating to a movie that might be perceived as a bad movie, like Swamp Thing, for example, by just asking, what was this movie trying to do and did it succeed? Mm-hmm. And this movie definitely succeeds at what it's trying to do. So screw it. I'll give it 5 pumpkins too. It's on Tubi. Boys and girls, friends and neighbors, it's on Tubi. Go watch it now if you haven't already. I wish the soundtrack was available.
Yeah.
It's not on Spotify. You can find that Thomas Dolby song and the Visiting Kids song. Bo Diddley seems to be enjoying himself. He does. I don't know that he had many lines.
No, there's a reference. Did you hear the one lyric too? And I think it's the last song.
Yes, in the Elvis song, "The King Is Back," he acknowledges that this is Bo Diddley.
Yeah,
so I guess he's playing himself. I mean, they call him Axeman, but that could just be a nickname. Maybe he was meant to actually be Bo Diddley the whole movie.
Well, I don't know if he calls him out, the character, but he just has the reference that Bo Diddley sound or something, that Bo Diddley riff.
Yes, but he kind of turns it, but he sort of the line is, it's the Bo Diddley sound. I don't remember what it's rhyming with, but he turns and sort of points to him each time he says it. Yeah. So he's either Bo Diddley or he's a Bo Diddley impersonator who's purposely playing the Bo Diddley sound.
Yes. What were Bo Diddley's hits? Because
I'm not sure. Let's check. Let's find
definitely
out.
Influenced. I just looked at, I think it was on IMDb. They're like, if you've heard this, this, and this, you've heard the Bo Diddley sound. Because he was he was a front runner of rock and roll for sure.
Alice McDaniel, known professionally as Bo Diddley. He also has a very distinctive square guitar, rectangular guitar. He influenced many artists, including Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Animals, George Thorogood, and the Clash. His chart singles, Bo Diddley / I'm a Man, Diddley Daddy, Pretty Thing, I'm Sorry, Cracking Up, Say Man Back Again, Roadrunner, You Can't Judge a Book by the Cover, Hey Good Lookin'.
Oh, that's probably
and
the
Baby. I think Hey Good Look
biggest hit.
Hey Good Lookin' might be the only one of those that I have heard of.
I feel like that's probably his biggest.
But I believe he probably played with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And obviously was very influential.
Yeah, very influential. Yeah, this was a fun adventure. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Blues Hall of Fame, and the Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame. Really? Rhythm and Blues has a separate Hall of Fame from blues?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Great recommendation. Thank you.
You can put that on your ongoing Halloween movie rotation list. Folks, thanks for joining us. Lita, thanks for joining me. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
I think that's all that I wanted to say. It was
anything you want to? Is there anything you want to promote? Are you on Instagram or anything?
I am on Instagram and I am on YouTube. Go look at the Shrew review on YouTube. My handle is I am Lita Lopez on Instagram and the Twitter and even on the Facebook. But yeah, go check out my YouTube channel about the Taming of the Shrew.
All right. Thanks again for joining me, folks. Be back here for another movie tomorrow as we continue our slouch towards Halloween. Remember to keep calm and seek shelter in basements and not to misuse science. I will not see you, but you will hear me next time with another guest on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texicano Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MNFTG.
Well, there's a party in my pants. Would you like to take a gander? And there's a rocket in my pocket like a hang salamander. If a diamond rings is something you'd like, well, don't worry, baby, because the king's back. I got love in my tummy, there's something to go around. Rockin' down to the Bo Diddley sound. My name is Rockula, and I'm taking no prisoner.